or as we speak, polling has started across the country for mayors and urban mayors. Which category?
Division councillors?
Yes, division councillors and mayors across the country. But how significant are these local government elections? And two, could Uganda's bid for decentralization be either stagnant or taking the right trajectory?
Didn't we start this conversation as early as 1997, thereabout?
Yeah, well, we
more
initially
about
had
decentralization and
RCs,
devolutions. Yeah.
and we evolved to LC, the LC system. What is the story to write home about this whole thing called decentralization? Is it time to rethink the entire agenda? There is always this notion that decentralization brings services closer to the people.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you look
and that is where we got into the unfortunate, we called it political gerrymandering.
Yes.
That every other time there was a request for a new district, a request for a new administrative unit, the context was always, we want to bring the services closer to the people. Has that been the case anyway?
Well, this morning we want to engage one of the celebrated former legislators, Honorable Stephen Mukitale, who joins us from Bulisa. Honorable, good to have you. And where have you been?
Simon Muko, God is great. I have been around. I'm in Bulisa, but most of the time at National Planning Authority, really looking at the tenfold growth strategy and how the NDP4 can help us. But of course, now talking about devolution. What an interesting debate as we talk about 40 years of NRM government, and more so today when we are having a division, seated division elections and the municipality elections.
Well, Honorable Mukitale, thank you for joining us. And increasingly, we're getting questions about. I hope you can hear me.
Hello, Simon.
Yes, can you hear me, Honorable?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Simon?
Yes, Honorable, I hope you can hear me well.
You're losing me?
Well, let's fix you and
hello, Simon.
We'll certainly get back. Decentralization. It was one of the brain children of Honorable Bidandi Sali, former Minister of Local Government. And today where we are, it's time for us to take stock of the highs and lows.
Especially when you talked about the transition from the RCs to the local councils. That takes me back to the Local Government Act of 1997, how it has been actualized, and has it met the aspirations that the conversation was? It later on came about. There's been a lot of discussion about expenditure at source, especially for collection of revenues, and how different local governments can actually be empowered to drive their own economic growth. But then came in the conversation of, for example, Kampala, Wakiso, and maybe Mpigi having bigger...
The metropolitan.
Exactly, having bigger revenues. What then happens to the others in the countryside that have less to collect from?
By the way, there's also now this new debate. It's a tug of war between cities.
Exactly.
Cities and districts.
From as simple as jurisdictional issues of who takes what particular proportion, but to as far as resource expenditure.
Well, we hope to get back to Honorable Stephen Mukitale. Good to have you back, Honorable Mukitale. As we look back and forth, are these local governments really living to the aspirations? And is there any reason for anyone now to be enthusiastic about going to cast their ballot?
Simon, first of all, I wish the citizens of Uganda a very good election. How I wish we could have a good turn up of the at this very important level, because I want to believe municipality elections. I want to believe the city division elections and even the ones coming of sub counties are so crucial in terms of service delivery. But as it is being put, we are talking of we are discussing the functionality of decentralization, of devolution 28 years after, almost 30 years. I think first of all we have to accept that decentralization policy was a good intention. Whether you talk about financial decentralization, whether you talk about legal devolution, whether you talk about administrative, the intention was okay. But along the journey, we must also admit that it has delivered some intended, says, bring services nearer the people. But there has also been some adulteration, and there is where we need to seriously rethink to have a review of this well-intended policy. After 28 years, no policy is cast in concrete. I think it's only wise that we review the decentralization, because at that point in time, it was expected that on the issue of the financial, for example, that financial viability of a district, but that since every money is coming from central government. In terms of legal, you have realized that a lot of powers have gone back to the centers, including some appointments, and including administrative. The cows have gone back to the center. And for me, I don't want us to remain stuck as what was the intention. We are more interested in service delivery more than just elected people, because part of the adulteration is that we are now seeing more people discussing. You bring a seat, people want to discuss in terms of Lord Mayors instead of discussing what are the services that a city should bring. You are aware, for example, speaking from National Planning Authority, the whole country is a planning area. When you are talking of town councils, when you're talking of municipalities, when you're talking, are these divisions really, are we seeing planning moving higher at National Planning Authority? The information I have, the National Fiscal Development Plan is only at 20%. So how did we come with the whole country as a planning area 2010, but to date in 2026, we are only at decimal performance of 20% of National Fiscal Development Plan. So for me, I think these are serious areas we need to review, and I find most of the answers in the Article 178 of the Constitution as amended 2005, whereby the regional tier government system was provided for. Because in the regional tier government system, if you realize, some of these areas where my small district cannot manage, could be handled at a region. The medical, we are trying with medical referral hospitals. I think we should do the same also for the roads, like the former UNRA, and you bring engineers, expertise, equipment, logistics, and a budget in a region. Even in the areas, say, of the public service, I don't think the districts are competent enough. You can't have a younger doctor, a younger engineer recruited and remains in Ulisa from age 24 to until retirement. Which kind of experience is that? I think there are enough areas to look into. If somebody is, for example, in Bugisu regional government, and he can go and work in other districts of Bugisu. Today you are in Ulambuli, tomorrow you can go in Mbale City, and that rotation is very important even for the human expertise. So I think there are serious areas to rethink, to review. The intention was okay, but 28 years after, clearly, it's abundantly clear we should think more of reviewing the decentralization policy, and more so go by the regional tier system Article 178, which actually provides for equalization, equal opportunities, regional balance. I can even introduce the debate for the tenfold growth strategy, where we are saying in NDP4, the ATMs, the agro industry of some region If you give them all the extension advisory and look at the value chains they can do and specialize, say, in 5. And we do regional plans the way we are doing for Karamoja, for Gulu, because we are now talking of doing regional plans in the whole country. These regions have different climatic conditions. Chigezi is different, Mbale is different, Toro is different, Ankole is different. So West Nile is different, Acholi is so we can actually do agro-industry, the part of the ATM, using the regional approach. We can actually do tourism. Different regions have different are endowed with different potentials. So you develop that potential of that region big time. If you talk about say science and technology, how do you identify they say if you do an industrial zone if every region has an industrial area and you think of what value chains of that in that region and you develop it. Karamoja is not poor, Karamoja is very rich. How do you specialize and look? So we don't look at these regions just as political election areas. Let us look at economic zones. Let us look at the production value chains. Let us look how we can seriously think of these regions competing, equal opportunities, regional balances, and I think the time is now to review the decentralization
All right,
policy.
Honorable.
What we are, for us, we are saying,
Honorable Mkitale.
yes, please.